Greetings, class. Through the miracle of computing, you're seeing how a web page accumulates with multiple web pages and becomes a website. Let us explore this in our Chapter 4 links discussion. As a website gets larger, it becomes necessary to create a navigation system to get around it. That is what the anchor tag does. That's the purpose of the link. In this chapter, you want to focus on the most important idea in web: navigation, links, connection. Links connect pages, files, sections, and people to the resources that we need. They are the behind-the-scenes engine for navigation. If you understand how the anchor tag works and how paths are written, you're going to be able to build websites that users can actually move through in an efficient manner. Navigation matters tremendously for accessibility and for the ability for people to find the content that we work so hard to create. Also want you to notice that a good link is not only technically correct, it must be clearly written so that users can know exactly where to take it. So with no further ado, let's get right into the coding. For this link discussion, we're going to be making a new page as it relates to our chapter number 4. And again, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm going to take that template that we worked with last time. I'm going to duplicate that chapter 3 to become chapter 4. And Dr. T is off and running with some base code, making a few modifications. And by the way, expanding this detail in the menu to now include a discussion about chapter 4 as well. So remember, unless we create this anchor tag, unless we create that link, users do not have access to what we're trying to get them to see. That power is in our hands, Spider-Man. That destiny is in our hands. We must decide, with our great power and great responsibility, how to make sure people can link between our sites. And so let me do a little bit of cleanup here. We no longer need the list. We're going to be adding in the body here a discussion really about links. But let me do that. Housekeeping. Add out of instinct the ability for me to navigate to chapter 4 as well. I told you that web is an iterative process. We can't just build a page and forget about it. You have to remember to put that link on the index page, on the chapter 2 page we built, on the chapter 3 page we built. When we do this, it has the seamless ability to say that, oh, chapter 4 always existed, but it didn't. We had to go add that, folks. And now any page in this system can navigate to any page. The deliberate process. It didn't just happen, it became, I like to say. Programming doesn't just happen, it becomes. We worked hard to put that link system in so that the user has a seamless experience. That's what happened there, folks. Let's continue our notes and go look at various forms of links that can exist in this world. So I'm going to say, all right, heading 2. And in that, per our notes, we're going to call this useful course links. Okay. And notice that they are inline. Links don't exist by themselves. They're going to be existing in the midst of a paragraph at least. You don't ever just put anchor tag on a page by itself. We either put it in a list item or a paragraph. So we say anchor href equals, and this is just a sample. We've done this before. Link to the index.html page, which you know is the home page. This is the text that you want people to see right there. Go look at our preview on chapter 4. You see that I now have a home page link, and it actually takes us to the home page because that actually exists. Okay. Go back to 4. Now, given our navigation experience, that's there for that particular link. Now, this is highly inaccessible, but if I ever want a link to open in a new page, you can put a target attribute here, and we say equal underscore blank, okay? And that net effect is that once someone clicks on that link, it now opens in a new tab as opposed to staying within the same link system. That's just some extra information for your benefit as I'm led to show you some of the neat things you can do in the HTML world with just a few extra clicks, a few extra type. All right, so this is assuming that we actually had a page called about.html. Now, the problem with that is that page doesn't exist in our link system over here. If it doesn't exist and we try to link to it, it's a broken link, okay? That happens a lot in web. We have to be very, very careful. So in lieu of where our example is doing about, I might put a pound sign, but let's go ahead and type it exactly as the example wants us to do, and then see its effect when you don't have a page in the system that does that. So again, we're starting in the midst of a paragraph mark. We're going to put an anchor tag in the midst of the paragraph, href. And we're linking to a page that doesn't exist yet, about.html. And about this course, okay? Don't forget to close your anchor tag. So I have essentially made a link in preview, okay? That's actually pretty good behavior. The thing doesn't exist, but it tried to go back to the home page, at least in this environment. Typically, you'll get an error 404. If that link is behaving kind of weird, not like you expect, it's likely a broken link. What I tend to do in these instances is just say, go ahead and put a pound sign, all right? A pound sign, I'll go back to chapter 4. Put a pound sign in lieu of a page that doesn't exist. A page that I'm going to eventually bring forth, okay? Let that pound sign be our placeholder. Let's see how that behaves. Much better. Just kind of stay right there. Don't go anywhere. Eventually, you're going to be a link that goes somewhere, but right now, you're not doing anything that we need, so stay right there. Okay. Now, if I want to do a specific link that goes to an email address, let's talk about that. We call those mail to links, okay? And what we do inside the href is we say mail to : and then you're going to put the email address you want to go to. The default mail provider will open up. Say Dr. T is cool at TysonMcMillan.com. Okay. And make sure that we close the anchor. And let's just for fun say email Dr. T. And what that does, it depends on the behavior, whatever default editor I have. You click that, and it can bring up my various email providers in terms of sending that email. And it'll place that Dr. T is cool at TysonMcMillan.com in that particular list, in the to field. ready to send to me. Anchor tags also help us navigate. You can do a reference to say, okay, go back to the top of the page. And when we get into classes and IDs, that'll make a lot more sense. So for instance, I would have to say something like H1 class, does say ID equal top. Okay, let's look lowercase top. That's the top of the page. And if I want to make a specific reference, copy and paste into stop from reinventing the wheel. If I want it to go to the top of the page, I say hashtag top. Go to the top of the page. And let's go see how that might work. It has to be a pretty long page to really get the effect on this. And there's not a lot going on this page. So really didn't expect that to do much. I could have a little bit of fun and see if I can put many breaks in here to experiment with this. Got to be pretty far down the page for that effect to work. So let's see what happens. Okay. Let's double up on those breaks. And I'm really down at the bottom. Aha, now that jumps to the top. And so you have to see, we have a lot of space in between. But that's a really effective way to keep your user from scrolling when they have a need to go back to the top of your page. We just invented that process for them through the miracle of computing. Now, you also are able to link to an external web page. Okay. So if I wanted to make a link to my TysonMcMillan.com teaching website, here we go. Let's show you how that works. We'll say HTTPS double www.TysonMcMillan.com. We can open it in a new window. Okay. Or let's tell the people, Dr. Tyson McMillan teaching home page. Let's go see how that looks. And it would open my true website, which you can go out and check out if you like, at drtysonmcmillan.com, TysonMcMillan.com. Okay. You're seeing live development. You're seeing us go to the top. We have shown you the basics of how links work in this world. And so for further study, continue to look at the MSDN links. Look at our textbook. Our textbook is really good at breaking down concepts and not being overwhelming. You're going to need links from assignment 1 all the way through to the final project. It's something that you're going to need as the foundation of HTML. And it's my pleasure to teach you these foundations as we learn, we grow, we participate in this project together. Dr. T, signing out for now. I thank you for your kind time and attention.